I was born in a small village outside of Seoul, Korea, on what I've imagined to be a humble mattress on a dirt floor and then given to an orphanage. This is where my leader within was conceived. At 3 months old, a Caucasian couple found me, then took me home to America, and I was saved. But by the time I was 6 years old, I realized that interracial families weren't celebrated. The Vietnam War was still on, and people who looked like me, we weren't tolerated well, even little kids. I was called ugly, chink, dirty knees, and, well, I felt shame, but I could get over that. What really cut me down was the day that I was beaten with a garden hose. I was standing at the end of a driveway of this little boy down the street, Brad. I remember his name. And he was in his shorts, standing in his garage. And I remember he was just this little blonde boy, and we used to play together. And well, this day was different. I remember him walking towards me, slapping a hose in his hand, and he was smiling, so I stood waiting. Suddenly, he was wailing on me with that hose and sneering, "You flat-faced Jap." And I just froze. And I was thinking back that I realized I had this whisper that said, "You should get out of here." But I couldn't move. And eventually I came to and fled. But don't worry, I wasn't scarred for life. As a matter of fact, when I got old enough, I dated a few blonde boys. And they were sweeter, smarter, and much cuter than Brad. But as that little girl, I took that boy's cruelty to mean that there was something really wrong with me. But would I have internalized that damaging message if I would have listened to that voice, the one that said, "Run"? But I didn't always feel bad about being me. I remember the first time I was really happy was when I was 5. I was so proud to be with him, my dad. He was handsome in his Navy formals, and he lifted me up and put me on his shoulder and walked me all around work and introduced me to everyone in the office. But it would be a while before I felt like that again. Somewhere along the way, I realized that my dad drank too much alcohol. My parents would argue behind closed doors, and I heard my mother say to my father, "Go away." And he did, for a while. After that, I was supposed to keep everything that happened in our family a secret, and I felt trapped, and I needed an out. Then life gave me one. My class went on a school field trip where I found ice skating, and I loved it. It took all of my concentration, and when I was skating, nothing else existed. I was safe. And for the next 9 years, from 8 to 17, I trained as a serious competitive skater. And this is when I discovered that with hard work and goals, I could overcome fear. I wasn't equipped to deal with violence or my dad's drinking, but I could work through the fears that I had about skating, like, will I fall? Would I compete well? Will I look like a fool today? Probably. But this is how my self-discipline and tenacity grew naturally. And I would hear in my head every once in a while, "You can do it." My leader within was born on the ice. I won medals, and as I grew more confident on the ice, I set aside the shy, quiet girl for a new me who would risk being seen for the rewards of success. And I grew to believe in being courageous. Sometimes. I was becoming two people, one on the ice and one at home. I didn't understand alcoholism to be a disease. I just knew that I suffered the consequences of it, and I was I was getting depressed. And one day, my world came crashing down. I was with my coach, and he was giving me some new footwork, a new routine, and I panicked because I literally could not remember even one move. I was shutting down. It was like I couldn't figure out that 1 + 1 = 2. And I had the sense that it was time to stop skating. What? Where did that come from? After years of being told sky's the limit, nothing could have terrified me more at 17. I mean, I had always been sheltered in my skating world, so this was my first dark night. Strangely enough, though, my father hit bottom about the same time, and we all went to counseling together. And I was scared, but I heard this faint whisper say, just give him one more chance. And it's not that I wanted to, but I didn't have 6 hours a day of training anymore, and I couldn't hide behind that. And I was desperate for hope. Surprisingly, though, he did overcome his addiction and eventually became the dad I remembered from when I was 5 and so proud to be with. I never could have guessed that I would come to love that man again, but I did. Just like I never would have imagined that I would ever give up skating. But this is how I learned that inner quiet voice that came to me like a whisper was really unforeseen wisdom that was asking me to open up and grow. And because I listened, even though it was really hard, I discovered that I now believed in change. And I was soaking in this newfound goodness like it was a spiritual transformation. Life is good. People, yes, they have challenges, but they have good inside them too. I was filling with optimism, and then my world shifted. When I was 26, my mom died. I was working, I was married, I had a little daughter, and now I'm just trying to hold it together. She was only 55. Then my dad passed, and just a few short months later, my best friend, Marianne, I lost her too. She was young. She was my sister, my safe place. All three were ravaged by cancer and heart disease. And I think the reason I didn't get buried by all of that was because I was learning to listen to my whispers. They had been there for me and got me through hard times before, and I needed that again. So I just tuned in and listened carefully. And what could have been my second dark night turned into an awakening. My whispers, this ever-present well of wisdom was there to guide me, help me connect, find strength. And I emerged resilient. And I awakened, now understanding that I could fully believe in me. After my mother died, I made this promise. I will find a different way to accomplish my vision of life. And because I was front and center to her life and death, my dad's and Marianne's too, I was privileged to learn from their life stories. Satisfactions, regrets, wishes they left behind. And I made this decision, I will cultivate health and well-being always, physically and mentally. I will dare to be me, even in the face of prejudice and rejection. And I will place peace and joy as high as I place success, because I was grateful to learn that health is so much more than a chart or a number on a scale. And health and well-being, well, without those, all the success in the world can feel empty. So, those were my early hours that led me to this time and place and my life mission. And for the last 20 years, I have been helping and guiding thousands of people who are looking for a different way to connect within, to step into their next level, and to ultimately find their own inspired path. And because I attend to these whispers of mine, I can help them. And I can help you listen to yours too. And because I have learned to believe in me, I can help you believe in you. This is what I know. My leader within, she grows clearer, more discerning, more confident with every challenge she overcomes. She is nurtured and strengthened by those whispers, and she grows. I grow. I am vibrant. I have peace, purpose, and joy. And I've learned that the message and the promise of my whispers that were conceived on that humble mattress and dirt floor that I first heard on the ice has always been saying to me, believe.